Boom! Welcome everybody. It's Vaughan here from Ballroom Mastery. Awesome to have you here, and give me a like, share, and a shout out. Today I'm going to talk about your center. Now, this is a really exciting topic, applicable to both Ballroom, Latin, New Vogue dancers, of course, you American smooth dancers and rhythm dancers out there. For sure, this is important. Now, I want you to think about this problem that dancers face. Like, I want to be more musical. I want to feel the music. I want my rhythm to be better, right? Okay, so let's assume that you've got like a hierarchy of everything, yeah? So the end result, the final masterpiece of your dancing, the beautiful picture that you're creating, which is your body as the instrument, showcasing the melody, the rhythm of the dance, the character, the story, whatever it may be, that is the final product. To get to that final product, you have to be a master of your body. Now, there are certain things that if you don't get them right, you will never become the best dancer that you can be. It'll be impossible because you'll always be chasing your balance. You'll always be chasing your rhythm. You'll be trying to chase the speed of the music. So let me ask you this. Do you think the music is too fast? It's a good question, right? Well, most people say, yeah, that's me. Music's too fast, Vaughan. It's like, no, you're too slow. And the reason for that is because the body is not conditioned enough the right way, meaning the nervous system, because the muscles themselves, right? The muscles are not what we're conditioning. Although they need to be fit, how do they get fit? Although the muscles need to be quick to respond, how do we do that? What do we condition? We condition the nervous system. Okay, so when you think about like the balancing parts of your body, what's responsible for your balance? We have our vision, which is incredibly important. But, you know, if you close your eyes and then you just put your foot up for a second, you'll notice how quickly that closing your eyes really changes the dynamic in your balance. It's like you might close your eyes and go, whoa, I find it hard. You also have your ears. If you get a middle ear infection, your balance is affected, isn't it? So we know that one of the pillars of great dancing is that the great dancer has great balance. It's not like a great dancer has terrible balance and then they compensate by having awesome musicality, right? And so you don't see that play out. And so you can have an average dancer have excellent balance, and then they may not have the best expression in their dancing, but they will be able to be on time, they'll be able to move well, that you'll notice that they have a bit more ease of movement. And so the way to think about all of this is, how can you create the most powerful movement or the best type of movement, like the best quality movement, with the least amount of effort, and certainly with the least amount of muscular force. So like in previous videos, we've talked about the way we use our feet. Feet are everything, right? Without good feet, you don't have the triangle of balance. So for example, if you open your feet apart right now, wherever you are, watching this, just stand there, you've got your phone, put your feet well beyond your shoulder width, and then you've got a center, which is essentially your belly button. Tuck that to your spine, as we've talked about with previous posture lessons. Right, having the pelvis in a neutral position is key, as best as your body will allow, and having your sort of vertical line coming up from that through the center of your head, because that lengthening, the opposition through the top of your spine and the base of your spine, up and down at the same time, that lengthening is constant in all movement. Now, that is the center of your body. And then the center of your balance, really the center of gravity, lies between the three planes of movement. So if we cut our body in half and the frontal plane here, and then we've got our horizontal plane there, you get a direct center. Now that center is responsible. So if you just pull that forward, you'll find you fall off balance. But why do you fall off balance? Because your center of gravity is now off the supporting feet, okay? Because here you're part weight. So the point is that in dancing, we have a triangle that we're of balance. We've got our feet, legs, of course, attached to that, and then a center of gravity for our trunk. Our upper body, the arms, of course, all assisting in coordination of movement. And so with the center of gravity being so important of how it moves, it's the actions in our body that produce the movement, or produce the, I suppose, the rhythm, and then we can produce the movement. Now, what are we trying to do? It's a similar feeling to martial arts. You're trying to chase your center, essentially. So it's like, just try this as an exercise. You've got your feet together now. Your center's still right in the middle of your feet, but it's easier to sort of maintain, I suppose, a central area rather than feet wide apart. Now from here, what I'd like you to do, let's experiment a little bit today. First things first, you've got to have great posture. It's always important. You always focus on posture to create perfect balance. That's what you're aiming for. And then essentially you want to move foot to foot, don't you? So if you were to just step onto the right foot, how would you do that? Well, you'd say, I move my foot. That's pretty obvious, right? You don't move your hand to move your foot. You might say, I move my head weight to move my foot. And that would be a poor quality movement, but you'd still move. What you ultimately do, let's say it's rumba, you would settle your body weight to commence movement, right? That's how it works. Now, what you want to think about in this exercise is how you're going to create a more active, powerful, like, I suppose it's not really coordinated, although it is, because coordination is essentially syncing up the parts of your body responsible for good movement. But the idea is that you need to create a powerful transference of weight. And you do that when you move from one supporting foot to another, and the center is like pulled onto the supporting leg, right? So I have a supporting leg, a moving leg, and this center has to like chase that moving leg. That's how you create a sort of more effective movement. And so now here's where it depends on the dance. Okay, so ultimately in ballroom dancing, you're swinging. So if you're doing waltz, foxtrot, quick step, well, let's say waltz and foxtrot. Those are really big swing dances, right? So, the waltz has a lot of swing involved in it, but they all have swing to some extent, except for Viennese waltz, which is more about, a rise through the feet rather than a swinging action. But there is still swing. Depends how you define it. A whole nother lesson for another time. The point being is that in ballroom dancing, primarily you're creating a swing action to move out of one foot to another. So there's different mechanics involved. And I want you to think about that word mechanics, because the principle I'm giving you works across the board, but then you've got to think about the dance you're doing and how it applies. So I'll give you an example. If you're going to do ballroom dancing, your center will need to ultimately get over the moving foot so you can then move into the next movement, whatever that may be. Well, there'll be a corresponding action in the body. So if I need to move my right foot forward as a feather in the foxtrot, I have to feel that the standing legs action is a fall, and my center is also falling as well, but it picks up at the end through my foot rise. And so because of that, right, that's what I'm chasing. My center's chasing the foot, and it's not like you try to, you can hold it back a little bit because you don't want to get over the leg too quickly, otherwise you'll stop your movement. And so the point is that it's like you're chasing the moving foot. Moving foot must be ahead of the body at a rate at twice the speed of the body falling. And essentially, if you do that, you're going to create a smoother transition or action. Now, if you're doing that for foxtrot, the same rule can apply for ballroom dancing. But I want you to just think about creating balance through your center. Get your center towards and over the moving foot. Now, a good dancer will, and definitely one who is an advanced dancer, will always be aiming to move into the foot, through the foot, and then out of the foot. And we're not trying to push our weight through the foot. We're not trying to push our weight out of the legs like a sprinter would to move. It's through the idea of rising and falling being the optimal word in ballroom. Now, if we look in Latin dancing as an example, again, the action will be determined by the dance, right? So if you're doing rumba, as we said before, you'll have a settling action starting in the shoulder weight to the hip. And because of that action, that is going to move your body weight forward. Now, the leg has to go, boom. Okay, so in that position, your body weight's creating a settling action, your upper body's moving, the rib cage is moving, everything's going, shoot, your center now is moving. The foot is there to prepare, like sending a text message, receiving the text message, and this is the message going through time and space, and then your hip weight will help bring you over the leg. And then you repeat that again. Settle, prepare your body weight's falling, legs catching, centers collecting, right? There's another way of thinking of it. The point is, if your center is off, so if you got to move and your center goes on a diagonal, you'll pull yourself off balance. And so the center really is the key for creating more power because, well, not only power, right, which is force times speed, it is this ability to recognize that there's a relationship between the center, the moving foot, and the supporting foot, and coordinating those through excellent footwork, through excellent foot positioning, which is one foot in relation to another, and alignment, of course. In ballroom, alignment's through the feet. In Latin, it's through the body in relation to the room and your feet. And the point is that you're trying to coordinate the technique, the syllabus, the basics of dancing with these mechanics in the body. And the mechanics being primarily very simple. Standing leg, moving leg, center. Bring them together in coordinated fashion. Then the dance itself will tell you, like, what's the rhythmical effect you should be producing as an action to move. So one last thing you can try is if you go into jive, and you're going to want to watch this lesson again because there's a lot of information in a short period of time. But if you look at the jive, for example, if we just look at a side step, like a lunge, you don't just lift your leg up and go to the side. What you want to feel is that you know your center is going to be chasing that leg, and then it's going to get onto the leg and then over the leg. You want to feel that in your body, there's a preparation, right? Like the upper body is creating the rhythm to pick up the leg. So there's a feeling of like an accordion or a sponge between the body, boom, and then you release the weight. And now you can use the leg to help you, but it doesn't help very much. That should just be doing its own thing. So just try this. Stand on your right leg, okay? And then just go up and down on the right leg. Let the free leg do its thing. So this should not be responsible for your balance. It shouldn't be the thing that if you lift it up, you're dying. That means you didn't watch the posture lesson, did you? Right? Because you always lift out of your hip. And if you lift out of your hip, you'll be fine. You stand there all day, having a coffee, be like, what's going on? Well, having a chat. Because this leg won't be throwing you off. In fact, you're going to be able to use it to create rhythm, right? To I suppose, accentuate a very standard moving action, like where if you just step to the side. But because you've got good balance and you're thinking of your center being on the supporting leg, you have the freedom to do what the hell you want with the leg, depending on your flexibility, your skill as a dancer, your ability, and your capacity to train and have the discipline to develop this skill. So what you want to do is, if you're just going to take a lunge as an example, boom, you'll feel that your center's chasing the leg, and then you want to regain to the opposite leg. So as a feeling, you could bring the right side and hip together. So it sort of comes down a little bit without your shoulder collapsing. That's very important. It doesn't look like that. And then as you do that, you feel your center and your second center here in Latin come together. So they sort of squeeze. That helps the free leg to pick up a little bit, whoosh, and then you can release it, right? And then come up, use your supporting leg to come up with control. Now, from here, as a say, intermediate dancer going to advanced and beyond, what you do is you play with the upper body. So even with this basic idea of centers over the moving leg, and you lift, you set to the side, and you recover your weight, you can play with the body rhythm. So you can be like, as you do that, you can get your body to go bang, 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 shoo, right? So you can actually use, like, not necessarily even the shoulder, but underneath the shoulder, boom. You can use your rib cage a little bit more, right? And so that will add to the effect, won't it? But it won't throw you off, because the core center of you and the moving legs and the pressure and the energy using the floor to dance as well, with all your technique, is what's going to free you up to let the upper body relax, right? And so you can create a movement, boom, and then let it go. See what I mean? Like, you're not going, hey, my teacher, that guy over there, he said that when I go to the side, I should go Broadway, right? Or I should go, or there. It's like, it actually doesn't matter, like, whatever, that's a style, but it shouldn't affect you. So if your arms are throwing you off, watch the arm video exercise that I showed recently, but realize that arm movements shouldn't throw you off, because you're so grounded, like on your supporting leg, that your upper body can move freely, but also in a coordinated fashion to showcase the rhythm of the dance and to showcase, like, your artistry, right? Which is like the highest level of dancing. And it's where you've got a base set of steps that everybody has, okay? Everybody's got syllabus. Everybody's got developed syllabus. It's not like there's new promenade runs in samba, for example, but the way you dance them is created through the development of this sort of artistry, right? Where you can use your upper body the way you want, because you're not getting thrown off center. And so if you want to develop your dancing and you say, look, I want to develop my upper body rhythm, I want to get my arms to work, it's like, look, you've got to really get your feet down. You have to have your feet so good you don't have to think about them. Like your footwork, you don't have to think, is it a ball, is it a heel, what is it? And then your posture and balance have to be spot on, right? That's what you train. Spend 5 years working on footwork, hard. Know your footwork, heels, toes, balls, inside edge, outside edge, right? What are you using? Whole foot. Know your timing, so you don't have to think. Automatic. It's like, just happens. You know it's 5, 6, 7, 8. You know it's slow, quick, quick. Whatever the timing is for a step that is associated to your dancing. Then spend the next 5 years after that, you start developing your body to move the leg, right? So you start to think, how do I use my body? How do I use my feet in conjunction with my body, right? And so instead of just foot, 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 you actually go from bottom up to top down. That's what dancing looks like as you get better and better and better. Why does this matter? Because you'll enjoy dancing more. You'll look better too. And so as a social dancer, this would apply because you need to use your center so you can dance, because you'll lead better, all right? You'll lead so much better. You'll follow better because centers talk in ballroom dancing. They communicate. In Latin, you'll be able to hold your own body up and just take a nice, easy sidestep and think about where the hip rhythm is going to dance around. And, you know, it's going to dance around your spine. And you'll realize if you collapse your body, you're going to look like a seedy dancer, man. Like, no one wants to dance with this guy, right? And so holding it up gives you a nice feeling. So your leading and following will improve out of sight. Your quality of movement will look much better. You won't look like a show-off. You'll actually look like you know what you're doing and not a numpty, so that's nice. And if you're a competitor, low-grade competitor, aspirations to be high, or you're a high-level competitor, look, if you're a low-grade competitor, this is a must. You master this. You got to, otherwise you won't ascend. You know, you're not going to get better because your choreography will get worse, because you'll get harder choreography you can't execute because you have no idea how to control your center. And you have no idea how to shift it foot to foot. And your basics, your feet won't be very good because you haven't developed them. And so now you're caught up in the game of what steps can I showcase my dancing with and execute poorly, and everyone will know, and you're not going to feel good, and it's terrible, right? And you get trapped in that. And so then if you're a high-level competitor, you spend your ages mastering this. You know, you really spend a lot of time like on the supporting leg and thinking, how much can I work my body to take a step? Like, what can I do in between that? What movements can I generate through my body action, right? Like, what can I take from this? Breathe, you know, and whether or not someone likes it or not, who cares, right? Like, dance you, be you, have a good time. But with basic structure in place, a nice posture, your look's going to look nice. With good center, you'll have control. With all of this in place, and I know it sounds complicated, but it isn't, especially if you need a bit of help. Check out Ballroom Mastery Academy when I've got it launching again. It's not available at the moment, but you'll get the foundations to do all of this and to understand it properly and to have frameworks that will really, really help you. But most importantly, you'll be able to be in time. So the music won't be too fast. You will be able to do it whenever you feel like. It's a work in progress. And so one of the things that I encourage you to write down and remember is it's progress over perfection every day of the week. Progress over perfection, just a little bit more. So as a recap, what you can practice now, have your center align over the foot a little bit so you're not in your heels, okay? Pick up your left knee, okay? Feel that alignment being like perfectly balanced. Give your arms a shake so you don't fall off balance, right? Reach your foot out to the side. You shouldn't lose your balance. Now, use your supporting leg. Bend it up and down a little bit, right? Feel now your ribs or your side of your body squeeze a little bit together. That'll be like an and-ah feeling, and-ah. And then as you go to the side, chum chum, like let your body go a little bit, doo-dum. So you get boom, 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 and then go to the side. Have a bit of fun, right? And then again, one, or we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, up, 5, 6. And see the body shape at the end, 7, 8. And then off you go. If we look at it the other way, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, up. So get the body to come up, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bit of fun, right? You can play around with any step doing this, but the step doesn't matter so much as you understanding the triangle. Center, foot, foot. That is one of the cornerstones, that triangle of balance. Center over the foot, controlling that, getting that vertical alignment is going to change the game for your dancing. This is Vaughan. I really hope you enjoyed this. Let me know below. Give me a comment. Love bringing these lessons to you. Check out ballroommastery.tv. Lots of cool training there. Heaps on YouTube already. And keep an eye out for Ballroom Mastery Academy when the doors open again. And I look forward to helping you master the art of ballroom and Latin dancing.